Hi Flosstube! Where do mermaids go to see movies? The dive-in. Hi, I'm Stephanie, the Ivy House Crafter. I start my videos with the dad joke of the day because why not? And this is my channel where I talk about my cross-stitching and craftiness. I've had a pretty productive week. Not all of it was stitching related. Over, what days was it? Anyway, yeah, Thursday. Thursday evening, my sister, who has been living in Texas, she and her husband and kids are, well, at the time, were in the process of moving to Idaho from Texas. And due to some really bad weather where they were going to be driving, they had to stay an extra day and ended up staying that extra day with us. And my mom and youngest brother were with them, helping them with the driving, because driving from Texas to Idaho takes several days, and they had a van and a moving truck, and so they needed to be able to rotate driving for safety and sleepy reasons. So it was my sister and her husband and her 3 young children, including the cuddliest little 1-year-old boy. Oh my gosh. Anyway, and my mom and brother. And they were here Thursday night and left late Friday morning. Prior to that, our house was not guest ready. So when my sister called and asked if she could, if they could kind of last minute stay with us, and this was just like a couple days before, it was a little bit nerve-wracking because it's kind of like, yeah, we'd love to have you, hang up. Oh my gosh, my house is a disaster and there's gonna be people here in 2 days. So we did a lot of cleaning and got it okay to where it was okay for people to come and stay. And of course the kids have gotten the downstairs just as messy as it was before they came, but that's what happens. But yeah, her cuddly little boy. Matthew, my toddler, is very high energy, very go, go, go. And so I was joking with them when her little boy came to me, and as soon as I picked him up, he just like cuddled right up into my shoulder and just like melted into my body. You know how little babies do sometimes. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I haven't had this much cuddling since Matthew was like 3 months old. So it was so sweet. He's such a cute little guy. Anyway, so that was my non-stitchy stuff. I also had stitchy stuff that I worked on, so let's get into whips. Works in progress. I spent one day working on Forever and Ever. This is the Songbirds Garden Series #1 from Cottage Garden Samplings. And here is where I'm at so far. So that one day that I worked on it, you may recall last time I had partially done this stem and a little bit of this leaf, and so I completed the stem and this little offshoot here and these leaves. So except for a little green rosebud right here, this section is done. And I could have done this part too, but I was tired and I wanted to go to bed. So I did. So this is Forever and Ever. And I'm going to start doing what Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts does at times, where she inserts after showing her piece, or sometimes even without showing her piece, but I'll do it after I show it. She inserts a close-up, just video, no talking or anything, just a video showing the stitching more close-up. And since I'm filming on a camera, I can't see what you see, and often when I go back and watch my videos, I'm like, man, I wish I had held that up a lot closer to the camera so you could see the details. But I'm worried to do that because it might be off center. I don't know what you're seeing. So I'm going to start filming just little silent blurbs of just the project closer up so you can see the stitching and see all the pretty details. And that little close-up for Forever and Ever will go right here. The next piece that I worked on, I got this out and worked on it for 2 days. Active Service by Purple Stitching, and this is a pattern I purchased off of Etsy. I've named her Anne, and she is beautiful. And my mom and sister and brother were super impressed when I pulled this out to show them because, you know, family visits, sometimes you have to show off the things you've been working on. It's just what you do. It's what I do. I think other people do it, or I'm just weird. But they were really, really impressed with how realistic and like just amazing she looks. So here's where she is so far. Let me think, what did I add? I finished her neck and chin area down here. I added another dark brown kind of around, I think this part might be new. And I added another color to the inner area right here. So she is slowly getting progress, and just, I love her every time I work on her. Sometimes it's a little bit more tedious than others because of all the confetti, but the confetti is what makes the picture work. So, and here's the close-up of that. All right, so the last 4 days of this past week, I got out my Saxon band sampler piece that I haven't worked on in a really long time, and just, I was itching to start working on it again. So for those who are new to my channel, or, you know, relatively new, haven't seen this, first off, welcome, hi, thanks for visiting. These are 2 band samplers that I designed and are available in my Etsy store, and I am stitching them side by side on the same piece of fabric, and it's going to be ginormous, and so it will end up looking something similar to this. I already have this part done on the Saxon Transylvania band sampler, and I was working up here on Ye Old band sampler. And here it is. As you can see, I finished these 2 bands right here. So I was about, I think I was about to this point on the bird and flower band sampler, and so I added all of this, and I was about to this point-ish, somewhere in here, with this band, and so anyway, so I finished all of that, and then I went ahead and outlined the next band for this sampler. For those who haven't seen it yet, this is my super janky homemade scroll frame. It's PVC pipe and some foam core board stuff that I cut to size, cut holes in, and taped together. It does not hold this very, very tight or very firm. I need to take this off. See it, I'm just like pop it off. But I need to line the inside with more tape to make it more more snug, so that it will hold tension a little bit better. It won't ever be like completely perfect tension, but that's okay. I stitch in hand. I'm used to my tension not being very tense, but yeah, it needs some work, but so anyway, here's the close-up of my Saxon band sampler. And that is just a fun piece to work on. I haven't said any of the fabrics or anything that I'm doing, but I've said it all in previous videos. So the Forever and Ever Tycho Edinburgh linen is 36 count 1/1, DMC conversion. Active service is white 18 count Ada, all the called for DMC, and the Saxon band samplers are 25 count 1/1, and it is DMC and DMC variegation, or variegated, and I have some other fancy stuff that I'm going to be adding in. I have it charted all in one color, but that is so that you can stitch it however you want. That's kind of the way I design at times, is, you know, well, I'll design it with DMC, very basic stuff, but if you want to change it up, go right ahead and change it up, because that's how I stitch, and so that's how I design too. Anyway, I think with the Forever and Ever I said 1/1. What I meant was 1/2. The other thing that kept me very busy this week was the Orp pouches. I finally delivered on the promised Orp pouches. I made a whole batch of them. Some of them have already sold, so I'll show the ones that are available as of the filming of this video. I'll start with my favorites, because these are just so pretty. This one I called Songbird. I made 2 of each of these that I'm showing. Each one is only listed on Etsy once, and then I said there's 2 available and pattern placement may vary. So, Songbird, isn't that so pretty? It's got musical notes and flowers and butterflies and fancy script writing and stuff. And then the lining is this marbled tan stuff. So these ones are my favorite. They are so pretty. This one, I don't know how well it's going to show with the lighting, but this is a batik fabric, and I called this one Chocolate Cream, or something along those lines, because to me it looks like it's like melty chocolate and cream, kind of like you're making ganache and haven't mixed everything thoroughly. I hope this is showing okay. And there's the inside. This nice red color. So there's two of those. This is soft florals. I have two of these ones available. And the lining is gray polka dots. I have autumn leaves, because I don't care what season it is. I love autumn and I have autumn fabric, so yeah, I'll list autumn leaf orc pouches, even though it is like a day or two before spring. And I have one of these left available. This green paisley. With this fun green lining. There were a couple other styles that I also made, or colors, but they're all gone, so I'm not showing it if I don't have it. So those are my orc pouches. Start to finish, I spent 5 days working on those this week. It was a lot of work. My fingers were really sore by the time I was done, because I sew the sides, these corners, by hand. I don't know if you'll be able to see the stitching on that, but yeah, it's fun and relaxing to do hand sewing, but I think I could really use some sort of finger protection when I do that, because my fingers just got so sore from working the needle. And then so the day that I finished sewing those, I had sat down and sewed like, I don't even remember how many in one sitting, but I couldn't even cross stitch the rest of the evening because I couldn't hold the needle. But it's worth it because they are so cute. So, orc pouches available in my Etsy shop. These are $12 each, and the shipping is included in the price. That's all the stuff that I have to show. As for this week, I'll just continue to stitch whatever I feel like stitching on. I anticipate continuing to stitch on Yield band sampler. I'm excited to get started on the next band and see how that starts shaping up. I might make another project bag or two, no promises, but if I do, I'll show it next week. And oh, I'm excited for Saturday, because this is completely not stitching related, but the Relief Society in our ward, that means that the women's group in our congregation is having a celebration to commemorate the birthday of the Relief Society, because it was formed around this time of year, however many years ago. I don't remember. I don't recall how old the Relief Society is, but we're having a birthday party, and it is a potluck brunch pajama party. So that's awesome. And I'm really excited about it. I don't know what we're going to be doing. I think there's going to be a speaker. But, I mean, potluck brunch pajamas. I am so there. And on that happy note, I will leave you. Happy stitching, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Bye.